Hello, everybody. This is Howard the Teaserking coming to you with week 5 of college football. Um, I see a good 6, 7 really strong games. I have 2 college locks going that are very strong, um, and 2 pro locks. The pro lock yesterday was the Rams minus a half a point, 1 point, depending on where you bet it at. Just love that game. There was no question in my mind the Rams weren't going to lose, and I had them. I had them at home. I had this Thursday night crap, which I hate, but there's no way Minnie's going to fly to the Rams, and you could see in the second half, especially the fourth quarter, how Minnie just tired out from the lack of rest and the injuries and everything else. Um, yeah, I know Hakeem Talib and Peters didn't play, which hurts, but they had Darnell and they had their offense. Maybe if Goff and Gurley are out, that's a whole different story. But they got backup cornerbacks, and Minnie lit them up, which was fine. But the way Minnie played against Buffalo is just tells me Kirk Cousins. I don't buy him as a winner, as a very good quarterback. Joe Montana would never have lost to Buffalo or any of these, or Staubach, or any of the superstar quarterbacks, Brady, Marino. They don't lose to a crap Buffalo team with no quarterback. So it's the way they lost there, and the Thursday night made it a lock and the point spread. Again, you're not laying 20 when you lay 7 and 6.5, and all you got to do is win. Look out! I'm dynamite when I find the game. The problem's finding it. This week looks like a really good setup in college. 2 very strong locks going Saturday. About another 6 or 7 games. And last week it's been like I'm winning, and then I'm not finishing the teaser. It's been very confusing because my theory is to bet against the weak team, and I have Virginia Tech losing to Old Dominion. How the hell can that possibly happen? And it was just teams like that where they should have been winning. Ole Miss should have blown out, and none of them were, and it was really strange. It's what you look for. You got to realize these teams cannot afford to lose to these little teams. Virginia Tech's out; they'll never make the playoff. Now they lost their quarterback during the game, and maybe that had a bearing on it. But their defense gave up 150 points to Old Dominion. This is the problem. So. 9 times out of 10, that theory works. That's the 1/10. Was last week. It was definitely a bad week. The Buffalo lock was beautiful again against Rutgers, but I couldn't find more games like Buffalo to really to lock. And that's some weeks you just can't find it. You find that game, but there's not a collection. This week I find 6 or 7 games and 2 locks, and I have a lock going Sunday, which is, I love it, and I had the Rams yesterday, so the locks have been pretty good. We hit the lock at Buffalo. I lost Navy last week, and then I hit the over in Kansas City, the over in Pittsburgh, and God knows what happened with New England. Tom Brady getting a whole 10 points on Detroit. Something is amiss in New England. But that's what happened. So 3 and 2 on my locks last week, but I got 4 strong ones. One's already in the Rams. You should really think of buying me for the week. So if you buy me, it goes Tuesday to Monday. So if you're gonna buy from me, you might. I didn't play last Thursday's game, the Cleveland. This Thursday I happened to love it, and I locked the Rams. So just think about that. If you're gonna buy, some guys they'll buy the pros on Sunday, and you're like, well, you're missing the Thursday game. If you're gonna buy anyway, what's the difference? You might as well get the Thursday game if I play it. And if you're buying the college, there's Thursday, there's Friday. So it comes with the packet. The package is for the week. I'm not one of these handicappers that gives you 2 games at some point spread with no explanation, no contact, and that's it. And you're paying per game, and you want 3 games, that's $35 a game. I'm giving you all of it. And you can see by my history, there's always at least 8 to 10 college and 8 to 10 pro, or let's say 6 or 8, but there's always, basically I can give you every pro game. I can tell you who I like. Some I like really strong, some I'm kind of leaning away going, let's not, too much risk in that selection because I'm not quite sure what type of team, Team A is or Team B is. All right, let's get to the game. I'm going to give you a really strong game. Boise State is laying 16, 17 points to Wyoming, over under 46. So let's get into the body of work. What is Boise? Boise scores 46 a game, gives up 23, and that's after giving up points to Oklahoma State. Good quarterback in Brett Rippon. Good running back. They average 530 yards a game. So this is an explosive team with a very good defense. The only reason they lost to Oklahoma State was they got 2 punts blocked, but this was 2 weeks ago. Let's look at Wyoming. They're terrible. They average 19 a game. They give up 25. The quarterback's terrible. I rank him as a 4. He throws for 140 yards a game, but they only run for 150. And they have a decent running back, but it's one-dimensional. Their quarterback is not an option guy. He's just a bad quarterback. So, do I go over or under? Well, I got a weak team Wyoming with not much offense and a decent defense, but not against the bigger players. Washington State put up 40 on them. I got Boise, who scores 46 with a good quarterback, 500 yards a game, so they pass and run, and they give up 23, but that's skewed because of the Oklahoma State. 14 of the points were not defensive. They were based on the punts being blocked. Now we factor in Boise focusing on winning their conference, possibly getting into the playoff, but if not, getting a New Year's 6 game. And they're a very good team. They're a very mature team. They're not one of these with a bunch of freshmen on it. They're all seasoned seniors, good coach, good defense, good quarterback. Now, here's the kicker. They lost 2 weeks ago, granted to Oklahoma State, but they lost. And they've had 2 weeks to get pissed off. It's a conference game. They're going against a team with not that great of a defense and a lousy offense. So you can't really bet the game over. If anything, maybe an under, because Wyoming has a decent defense, but they're not going to score on Boise. Boise might blow them to, and put up 50 on their own with the over-under of 46. The correct and the best way to play this game, keep in mind, Boise's pissed off and they're a good team playing a weak team with a weak quarterback. They're a decent defense, but I'm not worried about it. Troy's defense is probably as good as Wyoming, and they killed Troy. Look for Boise to bounce back this week. This is what you want. What I've been noticing is you've gotten teams like Notre Dame and Michigan, and then Notre Dame's flat the next week. So they get up for these big games, and then they get flat the next week. That's called bad coaching. I mean, if they're capable of it, then you should get that effort every week. So I'm looking for Boise to be sky high against Wyoming. You're laying 16, 17, so you're laying 10. I just don't see where Wyoming's going to score. They're not a scoring team. How they're going to score enough to stay in the game with Boise, who's pissed off for losing. They've had 2 weeks to stew about it. When they hit that field, they're going to be pissed off, and they're just going to pound Wyoming. And this is a good example of a team that they can handle. It's a team without a good quarterback. They can run a little. Boise will take that away. But they don't have that widespread Oklahoma State offense. It's a terrible offense. They run the ball, and Boise will shut that down, make them throw to beat them, and the kid can't throw. He's young. I don't know if he's freshman or sophomore off the top of my head. But I have a little color code, and when I orange the quarterback, I know he's young and new. And so you've got a new guy going against Boise who is pissed. See, the one thing is, with the team lets down, they have the big win, Texas, Oklahoma, they have the big win. The next week they're flat because they're all spent from the game. And that's why you got to be careful when the teams play Alabama the next week. You got to be careful because they want to beat Alabama and they got sky high, and then they're flat the next week. So this is what you've got here, though, is not a flat team. You've got a pissed off team who can score playing a team who can't score. They'll never stay with them. All you got to do is lay 10 points, 11 points, which is not a problem in this game with this quarterback. So take Boise, lay that 10 or 11, lay it strong. Very, very good, strong play this one is. I love it. I've got it. It's just what you're looking for. So that's the biggest thing is you there's many different methods when you handicap, but in this situation, betting a good team off a loss and they play a bad team, they're going to be pissed, and there's nothing the bad team can do to hang in there. You're just not going to. Wyoming's not going to put up 40 points unless they block 5 kicks and they have 5 pick sixes, which I just don't. You've got too good of a quarterback in Rippon. They can run the ball. They're balanced. They need the game. They're a very good, strong team. And off of a loss, they're going to prove it. So take Boise, lay the 10 or 11. Then the lines change all the time. That's what you can. And shop for your lines. I shop all over to get the best line. And it saved me in the New Orleans game a couple weeks ago. I got 2.5. They win by 3 against Cleveland. Never should have won the game, but it was good they got the win. Last week I didn't need to shop for New Orleans. I had 9, and they win the game outright. But really never in doubt with the 9. The most they were down, I think, was 7. So you do shop. But when I give a game, people will ask me, like here, well, what if it goes to 19? Should I still bet it? Yes. When I make this pick, they're going to win by 28, 30, 35 points. It's not, well, I hope they win by 14. I ain't making those bets. I am not making those picks. I'm betting what I think the final score is going to be. I'm analyzing the game going, they're going to pound them, and Wyoming is just too weak offensively. They don't have the quarterback. They don't have anything to scare Boise, and Boise's defense is too good. They'll shut down Wyoming, and they'll score. And that's what I'm looking at. So it's just, by how many touchdowns? 3, 4, 5. So take Boise. Again, I have 3 locks left. I hit the Ram locks. I got the 3 locks left, 2 college and 1 pro. And I'm stacked in pros this week. Very good card. In college, I'm very selective what I've taken, and I've got at least a good solid 6 to 8 pack already posted. So good luck to everybody. Again, www.teaserking.com. If you want to buy, just go to the site, go to the purchase picks. You can email me, if you have questions, absolutely, no problem. And, I'm looking for a real big week this week, and now I have a lot more identity of the team, so it gets easier to handicap once they start playing in the league. Big Ten plays Big Ten. Now you really get a flavor of who's better than you thought and who's worse than you thought. Like Nebraska looks like the real 5 terrible team in the league. And then Purdue looks a little bit better, and Minnesota you don't know, and Maryland, but Michigan State and Michigan, and that, well, those teams you knew anyway, but you start seeing what's out there and getting a better flavor because now you've got info on this year, and that's the key to it. Okay, everybody, take Boise, lay the points. www.teaserking.com. Thank you. Have a nice weekend.